A big myth that is often encouraged in talk therapy is that to heal, you need to feel your feelings. You need to analyze your feelings. You need to talk about your feelings. You need to express your feelings, etc., etc. Here's the problem though. For many of us as high achievers with hidden trauma, the problem is not that we don't feel our feelings. The problem is we often feel them too intensely, right? We either go from 0 to 60 in a few minutes, or someone hurts our feelings and we withdraw and shut down and ruminate for hours, sometimes days. This sort of extreme reactivity, right, is called emotional dysregulation. And it's a big reason why many of us with hidden trauma end up having relationship conflicts later in life. So I used to struggle with this a lot. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. It's kind of embarrassing, but this is the truth. This is about 12 years ago. I was dating somebody and we were struggling in our relationship with communication problems and conflict and misunderstandings and such. And a lot of it was driven by my baggage. I mean, the other person had their baggage as well, but I bought enough for both of us, let's say. So there was one point at which some of my friends and family, right, she had met them, this person had met them a couple of times in the past, but didn't know them very well, and they came to visit. And somehow in my mind, I decided that this person was not being, attentive enough and generous enough, or was intentionally somehow disrespecting my friends and family. This is a story I got into my head, and it felt very, very true in that moment. Although now looking back, I'm like, why did I think that? Why was I so sure of that? I don't think that was happening at all. In any case, that's what it felt like in the moment. And here's another clue that you're about to go into emotional dysregulation, is the urgency which you want to go into your typical reaction, right? It just feels like it's outside of your control. You have to either react or shut down, right? And you are 10 out of 10 certain that your interpretation is the truth. These are some clues that maybe the problem is not that you don't feel or express your feelings. It may be that you feel them too intensely, and we need to learn how to regulate them first. So that's why in this video, I will share the 7 tools that you can use to instantly regulate even intense emotions. Here's the thing, when we don't know how to do this, because I didn't know how to do this for a very long time, I wasn't raised in a home by parents who knew how to do this either. So I ended up draining the love and the trust and the connection in my relationships over time. I've seen over and over in so many of the people and clients that work with us now is that they're caught in this same cycle of either overreacting or shutting down and ruminating and distancing, both of which are two sides of the same coin and really can damage relationships. So let's get into the 7 signs or 7 tools. Number 1 is to know your trigger signature. What does that mean? Your trigger signature is a term that I coined because our signature, right, it's like a fingerprint. It's very unique to you. It's what are the exact thoughts, feelings, sensations, and beliefs that you have whenever you are triggered. Okay? Whenever you are triggered, you have very predictable thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and body sensations. And you need to know what they are, because otherwise, every time it happens, you will believe the story, because it'll be about that particular circumstance and you'll just believe that story. But when you know your trigger signature, you can instantly recognize it when it comes upon you and say, aha, I'm triggered. This is something that is one of the first things I do when people come into our resilience program, is help them create and get extreme clarity on their unique trigger signature. Without this, you will go round and round recreating the same situations over and over. So that is the first step, okay? Number 2, once you know what your trigger signature is, you've got to make an agreement with yourself that when that trigger signature comes upon you, that you will not trust your mind, that you will follow the protocol, which I'm going to share with you, but that you will follow it almost automatically and blindly. Why? Because once you're triggered, you don't have access to your prefrontal cortex, which is your wise thinking brain. You don't have access to that at all. It just goes completely blank. Okay? And even your thoughts and thinking and ideas are coming from the triggered part of your brain, from the survival limbic system of your brain. So you can't think yourself out of a trigger, right? So once you know you're triggered, you need to make an agreement that you will not allow your brain to tell you what to do. You will instantly and automatically start doing this protocol. All right, so the third step after that is, what is the protocol? Okay, you need to start with changing your location. This is something that I didn't realize for a long time. Like, even when I sort of began to recognize, oh, I'm in a trigger, I would stay in that same spot and try to get myself out of the trigger. And that's just like rolling a rock up a steep hill. It's making it 10 times harder for you, and you will most likely fail. So you need to change location as quickly as you possibly can. One of the tricks that I use, even if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I feel my trigger signature coming on, I will simply say, oops, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back in a few minutes. You can always use the bathroom trick, right? No one's going to say, no, stay here and keep talking to me, even though you might pee your pants. Okay? You can use this even in a work meeting. Sometimes you're driving with somebody and you can't say that I need a bathroom break. So as quickly as humanly possible, change your location. I have even asked, someone's driving, I'm feeling a trigger signature coming on. I've even said, hey, can you pull over at the next exit? I really need to use the bathroom. So change location. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not move your body and move to a different location, you will not be able to do the rest of the protocol. Super important. Okay. The next step, the fourth step, is to say out loud, once you're in this new location, say out loud, I am triggered. You got to look at yourself, preferably in a mirror, and say, I am triggered. There's so much neurobiology and neuroscience to every single step that I'm sharing with you. We don't have time to go into the exact neural pathways that we're hitting at each step, because then it would take 10 hours for me to do this video. But trust me, every single step is evidence-based, and it works with how brains function when they're triggered. So that's a fourth step. Look at yourself, preferably in a mirror, and say, I am triggered. Number 5, use movement, sensation, or co-regulation to dial down the intensity of your emotions. So let me explain. There are many, many tools. Inside of our programs, we have 21 different tools that I actually practice with each client so that you can find your personalized toolkit that reliably and instantly works for you. But in short, let me mention a few of them here. Just hearing it will give you some idea of how you might be able to use it for yourself. So you're in this new location, you've said, I am triggered, and then you're going to move your body or use sensations like temperature and stuff, or co-regulation with somebody else if you have someone there that you can trust. So those are the 3 options. And here are some ideas for how to use those 3 options. You can use shaking. Shake it out like a dog would shake it out when they come out of the lake and they're trying to get dry, right? It's not a pretty, it's a full-on body shake. That's one thing you can do. The second thing is to stomp your feet on the ground and feel the strength of the ground and feel your sensation of the foot hitting the ground, which reminds your mind that you are actually in the here and now, and you're much less likely to go off into some rumination about the past. Number 3, you can use temperature, like splashing cold water on your face, holding an ice cube, right? If you see a dryer, right, hand dryer in the bathroom that you're in, go put your hand under the hand dryer. You can put it under cold water and then put it under the dryer, go back and forth for just 1 or 2 minutes. Another option is to do belly breathing. If you look it up online, there's lots of options for belly breathing, but basically the gist of it is to loosen your belly so that it's sort of sticking out a little bit, right? So you're not tensing up, you're really relaxed. And then you're breathing in a way that actually has your belly moving in and out. So you're not shallow breathing from here, you're deeply breathing from your belly. And when you're breathing in this way, make sure that your exhale, right, when you're letting your breath out, is longer than the inhale. That will help calm your nervous system. Another one is what's called safe place imagery. Okay, so you pick a safe place, either a place that you had in the past or have been to in the past. Maybe it's a childhood place or a friend's home or a beach that you grew up near, or it could be something in your present life that feels like a safe space, or it could be in your imagination, right? Pick a safe space and fully immerse yourself in that safe space as if you are there, and notice everything in that safe space. And notice the feeling of safety and ease that you're getting from being in that place. Okay, that's a safe place imagery. Another one is to simply do a body scan and loosen all your muscles. Often when we are triggered, we have tight jaws, our tongue is stuck on the roof of our mouth, we are frowning, our shoulders are tight and hunched, right? We are breathing shallow, our belly is tight, and we may be flushed. So simply doing a body scan and relaxing, loosening the jaw, taking the tongue off the roof of your mouth, just relaxing your shoulders, letting them slump, taking a deep breath, allowing your belly to relax, right? Doing a body scan and relaxing your muscles will help signal to your nervous system that there is no life or death danger, because you cannot be agitated in a relaxed body. That's a simple thing that I often use for myself, that I can use sometimes even in the middle of a conversation when I'm just starting to feel triggered. It hasn't really fully come out as a full-blown trigger yet. It's just starting. And if it's early enough, then I can just sit back, take a deep breath, relax all of my muscles, relax my jaw, smile, relax my belly, and that itself allows me to not go off into a full-blown trigger attack. Another one is to cry. Just have a full crying. Many of us have experienced this, right? When we have a good cry, and at the end of it, we feel a little bit calmer and clearer. So if you feel drawn to that and it's worked for you, use it. Go into a bathroom stall and just cry your heart out. Let it fully sort of pour out of you. Don't hold back. Don't just be, letting a few tears come and then hurriedly wiping it off. Just bawl your eyes out and you'll feel relief at the end of it. And finally, you can co-regulate. If you have someone there with you or someone you can call that will not, jump to give you advice or tell you how to solve it, but can simply listen and soothe you and give you affection and love. Sometimes all they have to do is just listen and make soothing noises, right? Someone like that, if you have someone, you can use that co-regulation. That's a quick way to feel calmer. But sometimes we can't use that, and these are all the other ways that you can dial down the intensity of the emotion and get out of the triggered state. Now, once you're out of the triggered state, I have 2 more steps that will make it less likely that you will go back into this triggered state when something like this happens again. See, we all get triggered by different things, right? Something that really upsets me, you might barely notice, and vice versa. Why is that? Because when something happens that triggers me, I have a core belief or a core wound from my past that's being poked in that moment. And that's why I'm having an intense reaction, right? Whereas my friend next to me might not have even noticed that person said this thing or that other person ignored me. They may not have even noticed. But for me, because it's poking on a raw wound that hasn't been healed yet, that's why I'm having this intense reaction. So once you have gotten your state out of the triggered state, you need to find that core wound and fully heal and release it. It sounds a lot more complicated than it is. There's simple tools and steps for you to do this. Way more than I can get into in this video. Maybe I'll make another video at another time about how to do this, but that's something that we go into great detail inside of our programs and actually help you do in real time. There are 4 ways that we show you how to find and fully heal your core wounds so that when that same situation happens again, because it will, you don't have a triggered response. When you don't find and release core wounds, you will spend your entire life overreacting and feeling triggered to stimuli like this until you die. That's unnecessary suffering. So we want to use our triggers to get to our core wounds and release them so that we don't have to get triggered in this way over and over again. And the final step is, until you have done these things, you do not go and have a conversation with the person who triggered you. Very, very important. Your mind will tell you that you need to share a piece of your mind and that your thoughts matter. And if you don't stand up for yourself, no one else will. And all these things. But trust me when I say, I've done that mistake so many countless times. I see my clients making that mistake, and it will every single time damage the relationship. Every single time it will make the relationship less close and less safe for both people involved. So only after you've done these steps, then do you go and have what I call a safe conversation. There's a particular way to have that, but you are having a safe conversation to try to resolve that disagreement or misunderstanding, but in a way that helps both nervous systems feel safe and loved. Because as soon as one nervous system feels unsafe, you'll be back into the same conflict and things will escalate again. So really important. So those are the 7 steps. Again, each of these steps doesn't actually take a lot of time, but it's really important that they're done in this sequence, because the trigger signature and the way the nervous system gets hijacked is so predictable and so damaging that if we don't have a clear pathway for how we're going to get out of it, we'll end up just reacting in the same way and having the same relationship conflicts and the same arguments over and over and over again, which is really draining to us, to the other person, to the relationship, and also to anyone else who is witnessing this, including kids in that situation. So these are the 7 steps to calm intense emotions quickly. If you want to know how to exactly, step by step, implement these things into your own life, there's actually 3 phases that we implement these steps in. If you want to know exactly what those phases are and how to implement it, whatever your situation may be, then there's a free training that I've included. There's a link in the description box that shows you the entire system step by step, and you can watch that and start using it today. So I'll see you there. Take care.